It's hard to believe this building once offered San Diegans an elegant night out. In the 1920s, the newly opened California Theater was a hotspot. It was called the Cathedral of the Motion Picture. It had a long run as a movie theater. Bruce Kuhns saw a Beatles concert film there in the 60s.
The girls screamed so much we couldn't hear anything.
Eventually, it became a live music venue. Patti Smith recorded an album there in 1978.
Baby, here as I am.
And Rex Udlin saw one of the best shows of his life there. The punk band Public Image Limited came to town.
What do you want? What do I get?
The lead singer was former Sex Pistols frontman Johnny Rotten.
Johnny Rotten was like Lincoln for punk rock.
Edlin says by that time, the theater was falling apart. It was 1984.
So here it is in this sort of rotting shell of this Victorian burlesque house that just has the tattered fabric and everything you would expect for a punk rock show.
Fast forward to today. The building has sat empty since 1990 when the owners foreclosed and investors took over the lease. 5 years ago, architects got inside to assess the building's condition. Here is what they saw. There were dead rats and pigeons inside, and a lot of trash. The roof is bad, so the water damage is significant. They put the cost of renovating the building at between $30 and $40 million. Abandoned buildings are not unusual in urban areas. The irony here is that this building takes up an entire city block across the street from City Hall, where government leaders see the building on a daily basis. But the blight doesn't stop with the theater. C Street has become a rundown corridor. Some think the theater has taken a psychic toll on this area of downtown.
It's a black hole. It has a tremendous effect. It sucks all the energy out of that central business district.
C Street was once thriving, but when the trolley line was added, cars couldn't access the street. That drove retail and restaurants away.
There has been very little private investment along C Street in decades. So if the California Theater were ever to be wonderfully restored and activated, I think that could be a catalyst for additional redevelopment on C Street, bring better quality retail, possibly even an arts and cultural district along C Street, which would be amazing.
Developers have shown interest in buying the theater building over the years, but its high price tag is a problem. It's listed at $10.3 million. Some estimates put its actual worth at just over $3 million. The building is also protected as a historic site. This limits what can be done with it. Bruce Kuhns helped get the building's historic protection. He suspects the owner is keeping the price high so the building will fall apart.
He's got some fantasy that he can bulldoze it, which isn't going to happen. So.
The owner's realtor admits they are not in any rush to sell. He says the listing price is based on the value of the land in a healthy market, and they need to get their return on investment. But will that return come from a renovated theater?
Probably the real value of the theater is only the dirt.
London doesn't think a renovated theater makes economic sense.
There's a lot of theaters that are probably already underutilized where millions of dollars have been spent in renovating them. I did mention just a couple in passing. The Balboa Theater and the Spreckles Theater are probably empty most of the time.
The Balboa Theater is just down the street. It was renovated in 2008 for the cost of $26 million. It's still operating at a loss. But there are some people who look at this property and still see a theater. Dawn Griffin is a developer looking for investors. She's wanted to buy the California Theater building for 4 years. She'd like to turn it into a high-end movie theater and a performing arts academy.
You know, if we needed more condos, great, fine, but we don't. You know, if we needed more offices, great, but we don't. You know, so, you know, but do we need an excellent state-of-the-art theater? I think we do.
That remains to be seen. One thing we know for sure, San Diego does not need a historically protected pile of rubble. Angela Carone, KPBS News.